Hey barbecue family, Kenyatta Robinson here. Welcome back to my Backyard SmokeMaster barbecue channel. Today I want to talk about my Lone Star Grillz 20-inch offset smoker. It's a 20x42. I've now had it for more than a year. And a lot of you have been with me since the inception of my channel, which really started when I got my LSG. It was really the inspiration. I just kind of took a chance, made a video, got some good feedback, good support, and decided to keep it going. So I wanted to talk today about my overall process and my experience owning the 20x42 offset smoker. So making a full-fledged YouTube channel was not something that I really planned on doing. I decided to make a video. I just wanted to shoot some video of the arrival of my LSG, and those of you who have been with me since the beginning of my channel might remember that video where the guy who was trying to offload it from the truck was having some troubles. And I had visions, after waiting all that time for its arrival, I had visions of my new smoker, crashing to the ground before I could even get it out of the crate. But anyway, that whole experience is really what started it all. And then, the feedback, the interactions that I've had with you guys have really kept me going. And I know I've been overdue in making a new video about the LSG. So today I want to talk about my experience, observations, just my overall thoughts, my process with the cooker. I don't have a cook plan, but I do have some video that I shot that I never turned into a video. So I'll probably edit some of that in there so you guys, because I think there's some interesting footage that I took that will show the full capacity of how much meat I can get on the 20x42 that I think you guys will like. So when I first got this smoker, it looked so pristine coming out of the crate and beautiful, and of course you always have visions of trying to maintain that look. I've kind of given up on that dream. I started off following LSG's recommendation. They recommend that you spray the outside of the cooker with a combination of cooking oil, like vegetable oil, and water. I can't remember the exact how many parts oil, how many parts water, but I did try that probably for the first 10 months of ownership. I don't know, I didn't find it to be as effective as I hoped it would. And then, I saw someone else's video, or I read a comment somewhere where someone talked about instead of using the oil water method, just using Simply Green. So I actually tried that a few weeks ago, and I think that's probably what I'll keep doing. Just spraying some Simply Green on the exterior and wiping it down every now and then. So one of the things you may have noticed is that I've experienced some buckling with the gasket. So right up here, and then actually on the bottom, the gasket started to come apart as well. So actually I need to redo this up here. Not a big deal. And I did contact LSG when it happened, because it started happening pretty quickly. I want to say within having it for about 6 weeks. They sent me a replacement gasket. I mean, enough to, like, I could redo this thing probably 3 times based on the amount that they sent to me. And I already replaced the gasket here at the bottom. I need to take care of this on the top. So that's one thing that I experienced. But other than that, you know, everything else has been truly rock solid. Some people ask, because the LSG does take water, and mine needs to be cleaned out a little bit, so excuse the mess there at the bottom. But I've been asked, do I cook with water or not inside of the chamber? It really depends on what I'm cooking. So if I'm cooking a brisket, I may want to add a little humidity, help stabilize the temperature. So I put a little bit of water at the bottom. But if I cook with, like, if I'm cooking chicken or pork, like baby back ribs, spare ribs, then I won't cook with water. The water feature, though, I think is cool, because you do have that option, and it definitely does make cleanup easier. You know, you just take your water hose, spray it along the bottom, and then it comes out at the bottom there. And then I opted for the valve, brass valve, and that makes cleanup a lot easier if you get yourself a bucket and put it underneath. So let's talk about the actual process of cooking and getting it fired up. So a couple of things. I opted for a couple of options. I opted for the GasLog Assist, and that's why you see the propane tank there at the bottom. And then I also had the add-on. Let me walk over here. I had the add-on in case I wanted to hook up a fan. I have used this a few times using a Barbecue Guru fan along with my fireboard to control it. I used it a few times. At first I was thinking, you know, this could be helpful in the cold months or if it's raining. Honestly, I've now come to the conclusion that I don't think it's really necessary. I don't really see much difference. I mean, it may give you a temporary boost having the fan, you know, blow that extra air into your firebox. You know, if you're really struggling getting your wood to catch. But ultimately, whatever benefit is gained from that, I found, you know, it's really temporary. I mean, you still have to make sure that you're adding wood as needed. I mean, the fan isn't going to help with that. So in other words, you know, it's not the same as when you're using a fan on like a Kamado or, you know, another type of cooker where, you know, the fan helps it become kind of a set it and forget it experience. Even with the fan, cooking with a stick burner is never a set it and forget it experience. So, and then as far as the GasLog Assist, I'd say that that's not really critical either. I do use it though, just to kind of help kickstart things. But I'd say, you know, it probably saves me maybe 10-15 minutes overall. I mean, I have it, so I go ahead and use it. But I don't think that it's ultimately critical either. I think you can achieve the same effect by just leaving your firebox open longer. Alright, so let me talk about this. So I've added, and this is something I just did over the past month, is I added this charcoal basket. And I did it because, one, I saw that a friend of mine, Smokin' Steve, who I met through Amazing Ribs, and you know, we keep in contact like mostly through Instagram posts and whatnot, but you know, he had a charcoal basket with his LSG smoker, and he's got the larger, I want to say it's the 24-inch barrel smoker. But I noticed that he uses the charcoal basket for his fires. And then also I noticed that on Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right channel, he recently bought a Jambo offset smoker. And I think it comes with a charcoal basket, you know, or he added it, I'm not sure, but I think it comes with the basket. And just from looking at the process, you know, it makes sense. So basically what I'm now doing is I'm just filling up the bottom of this basket with lump charcoal, and then I put a couple of pieces of wood, a couple of splits of wood in here. And what I find is that it helps me to really keep that fire contained and small within the firebox. I kind of push it over to the side here in case I want to put another split, you know, just to get it warm over on the left side with the basket here on the right. This is, I can't remember the name of the company that I ordered this from. I'll put a link in the description. But on their website, they have a variety of different 20-inch models, or different charcoal baskets, I should say. And this one was what they put in their description as being suitable for using on a 20-inch Oklahoma Joe. And I thought, okay, well, that means it would probably fit pretty well inside of my 20-inch LSG. So I went ahead and ordered it, and I think the fit is actually pretty perfect. Not too big. At first I thought, oh, maybe that's too small, but once I put it in there, I could see that that's a pretty good fit for this firebox. So I do recommend this. If you get a smoker, offset smoker, because what you want to do when you have your fire going is, you know, you want it to be contained and not too large. So you want like a small contained fire, and I think the basket helps. And it's made my process even easier. So again, I fill up the bottom of the charcoal basket with some lump charcoal, just enough to cover the bottom. Put a couple of splits of wood on top. Light it up with my gas log assist. Leave this door open. I'd say I probably leave it open for at least 10-15 minutes before I close it up, get everything else closed down, get that good fire going. I usually let the first splits that I put in burn down to charcoal before adding another split. I think that kind of helps you avoid having that real dark gray smoke. When you're burning with wood, it's not going to be a perfect, what they say, blue smoke, but you don't want it to be too dirty either, especially at the beginning of your cook, because that's when your meat is really absorbing all of that smoke. Should also say, for every cook, I spray the inside completely of the firebox with Pam. I also spray my cooking grates and the inside of my chamber before the cook, and I also do it after the cook. After the cook, within at least a day or two, I clear out any leftover ash, and then I spray the inside of the firebox. Every few months, I do the cooking for the church, and I filled this up with, I think it was chicken thighs, and I want to say I was able to get, I want to say it was probably like 20 chicken thighs up on the top. It may have been more, I really can't remember. But then, on the bottom grate, you can probably get at least twice as many chicken thighs on the bottom. So I think I want to say I had about 60 chicken thighs going at the same time. Of course, one thing to take into consideration with the 20-inch model is that the temperature is going to be different from the top and the bottom. So your top grate, typically around, I want to say 50, maybe 30 to 50 degrees hotter on the top than it will be at the bottom. So you kind of have to plan accordingly. Like I said, I put those chicken thighs on at the same time, knowing that the ones on the top were going to cook faster than the ones on the bottom. So the larger LSGs that have the tuning plates, you can make adjustments to have your temperatures be pretty close to even across the board, from left to right, top to bottom. But on the 20-inch smoker, you're gonna get that difference in temperature. So you just have to be mindful of that and keep that in consideration when you plan your cook. So the other thing I'll say is, in order to help me keep my temperature, within 35 degrees or so of where I want it to be, I do use my fireboard, and I just use like an ambient probe to monitor the temperature inside of the chamber. I usually put one on the top, one on the bottom. I think of cooking on my stick burner as being, probably the most rewarding out of all of my cookers. And I've got drum smokers, got a Kamado Joe, I've got a Mac pellet grill, got a Weber kettle. So, I've also have a pit barrel cooker. So, I'd say the drums are probably the easiest to use. The Kamado Joe is probably the most versatile. But when it comes to overall, I guess high risk, high reward, pure smoking, most satisfaction comes from cooking some good meat on the LSG. I love cooking brisket on this thing. I guess I really enjoy doing big pieces of meat on my LSG. So brisket, pork butt, ribs, things that are going to take multiple hours to cook, because I enjoy that process, the overall process of managing the fire, keeping the fire going. I like to cook a big piece of meat that I know is going to take many hours and just make a day out of it, enjoying myself in my backyard and just having a good time. And the LSG has definitely helped facilitate that for me. Once again, this is Kenyatta Robinson. Thank you for joining me on my Backyard SmokeMaster Barbecue channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.